Ladies and gentlemen, we have an L in chat. Today I submitted an appeal for some stupid ass offense that I did not do on my channel. I did not do anything like hate speech. And guess what? It got rejected. Big surprise. And the biggest group I said I hated, guess what? Get ready for it. And it was prisoners. You know, just I was literally hating on felons. I basically joking about how stupid it is how people, make fun of you when you have a difficulty on and so yeah. Basically, goodbye to a Subnautica episode because that's in the shitter. Oh, and I watched the video on YouTube detailing what counts as hate speech. There's nothing in there. I've looked at the guidelines. I can't really find anything that applies. So, yeah, basically, it's just half-ass remarked. These guys literally just they literally just hit enter on a keyboard and set an automated set message, which thanks YouTube. I would be less mad if it were a pause message. Like, if my video was removed and they said, oh, you did this, and, like, they wrote me, like, I don't mind, like, if you said, oh, you did X at X in the video, like, even one sentence by a human, that would be so amazing, because then I know that I'm not talking to a wall. But, basically, my video is gone. It wasn't that big of a video. And what makes me pissed is not only is there people that have broken this rule that are more popular than me that, have done it in a more severe degree, but what really makes me mad is the fact that this video has existed ever since May of 2021. It is almost April of 2023. So if this video, the only reason I can explain it is that maybe they upgraded their AI to flag more videos down. That's the only reason I can actually think about that. But what really makes me irate is that this video is over a year old. It's going to get 2 years old here in a few days. However, it literally still is down, so that pisses me off. So now, the video, like, one video going down that's not that popular is one thing, but having it down and the warning up there, so that's forever on my channel. I can't get that off. It's sad. It's like going out to your car and having an unremovable dent in it. Like, the car, like, having a new car with a small dent in it. Like, it doesn't seem that bad, but if you have, like, did this one transphobic short on YouTube, I'm like, wow. So basically, I get removed for hate speech, hating on literally nobody except for, felons. The only groups I hate are felons, like, predators, and, like, just bad people and scammers. Those are the people I don't like. Alright? You get what I mean? I don't hate on groups. I hate on individuals. Unless that group is, toxic, like, actual, like, bad, like, they're evil. Cool. Cool. So I think from now on, I might try to avoid, like, argumentative material, like, like social rights, whatever, because I can't talk about that now, apparently. I'm also going to try to avoid, anything that, like, has to, like, do argument. It has to deal with groups that are, not suppressed, but, like, Another thing I'm gonna have to avoid is I'm gonna have to avoid, you know, apparently shaming. I'm probably gonna jump off the fat phobic train because if I keep going on that, it's like, yeah. Oh, by the way, also the fun thing is so I don't like fence material, but I don't like it's called. I like how like I can recommend you laugh you lose offensive memes number 40. I don't want to be like that person that says, "Oh, if I have to go down with me," but I'm just pointing a finger. It's like that one time where Markiplier got struck, and then Dan Team was like, "Where's my strike?" So yeah, that sucks. I know I might sound like a hypocrite. I'm gonna try not to curse because of not get banned here because I said a no word like oh no, oh no. Unfortunate history of anthrax. This should be a less controversial stuff. This should be a less controversial inducing material. Okay. I'm gonna try to avoid the controversial stuff because I don't because one I remember I'm supposed to be focusing on the kids material and I really have been taken too far from oh wow that's weird. YouTube, if you're somehow listening, I'm gonna try. You know, I'm sorry I'm not good enough for you. I'm gonna have to try harder. That sucks, man. Alright. Anthrax, if you don't know, anthrax is a very deadly weapon material. It's a bioweapon. The worst of which is Anthrax B. Anthrax B has a kill rate of 90%. It's scary. Anthrax is scary.
Diseases that conjure such a strong image as anthrax, one of terror and of horrific potential.
Oh, it's
At
bad.
some point in human history, the disease was able to jump from animals to humans, where it became a constant source of misery, from wiping out livestock to killing thousands. It was one of the first diseases to be understood, and it's of evidence for germ theory. Some strains of the disease
Yeah, Anthrax B.
In today's video, we will cover the history.
No, is that it was developed by the Soviet military in the Ural Sea.
Anthracis bacteria, which is found in soil all around the world. The spores of the bacteria are able to persist in the soil in a dormant state for many years, with some evidence stating it may be capable of being viable even after centuries. It is a disease that primarily affected animals, but at some point in history became capable of spreading from animals to humans.
Humans are animals.
Not transmitted from human to human.
It's called. I read something on YouTube. It says you shouldn't say that X group is animals, even though listen, I'm gonna be honest. Humans are animals. It sounds like a hateful thing to say, but hear me out, alright? Humans have animalia cells, not plantae cells, not protista cells. Actually, wait, I don't think we can even have protista cells, because protista are single-celled organisms, and we're obviously not plants, we're not fungi, even though we have some fun guy in our species, get it, haha, funny. However, this means that we have animal cells. We are animals, right? Like humans are technically, scientifically animals. So I kind of get, but I don't know why like some diseases do not like jump like easier.
Infected material such as discharge from lesions. Once anthrax infects a person, it will begin to replicate and produce toxins. which will poison and ultimately kill the host. Anthrax
That's
infections can
they
broadly be split
engineered
into
anthrax
three
to
kinds:
kill.
gastrointestinal, cutaneous, and inhalation. These three infections will present some different symptoms. Gastrointestinal anthrax is usually caused by ingesting infected meat that has not been thoroughly cooked. An infected person will display diarrhea, abdominal pain or swelling, and fever and chills. Once in the gastrointestinal system, the bacteria can spread to the bloodstream and to the rest of the body. In today's world, such infections are incredibly rare, thanks to improvements in food production and preparation. But where unhygienic practices are kept, the risk will remain. Cutaneous anthrax occurs when anthrax spores get into the skin, normally through an open cut. Historically, this would occur with workers who handled infected animals or contaminated animal products, such as wool, hides, or hair. Cutaneous anthrax will primarily present as a
I think anthrax actually kind of survives on the fur of animals, if I'm
this
not wrong.
lesion will form an ulcer, which will soon become a necrotic scab
That
known
is
as a
awful.
test. Perhaps the most infamous sign of anthrax infection. With no
Isn't
treatment,
it aggression?
around 23% of people with cutaneous anthrax will die. Although, with the
Remember,
proportion
COVID has a
the
kill rate of
survival rate
2%,
is very
if I'm
high.
not wrong.
The final type, inhalation anthrax, is perhaps the scariest of the three. Inhalation anthrax can take anywhere from 1 to 8 weeks to present. At
To
first,
present,
infected
and by the time you're presented, it's probably already too late.
chills, and fatigue. These symptoms may be accompanied by coughing, shortness of breath, chest pains, and nausea. Such symptoms are indistinguishable from the flu. Often symptoms may die down for a period, lulling the patient into a false state of security. Over time, the infected person will struggle with their breathing, often accompanied with chest pains again. The bacteria will first infect the lymph nodes in the chest before targeting the lungs. This initial lymph node infection can often result in hemorrhagic medistinitis, where the chest cavity will fill with a bloody fluid affecting the person's breathing. Infection of the lungs can be very sudden, and from this point, an untreated person will usually die within 48 hours. All types of anthrax can be treated with antibiotics. As is often the case, the sooner the treatment, the more chance of survival. A number of previous illnesses and outbreaks today are attributed to anthrax. Anthrax is believed to have first appeared in the Middle East, notably Egypt and Mesopotamia. The description of one of the 10 plagues of Egypt may have also been describing anthrax. The fifth plague, a pestilence that killed Egyptian livestock, does bear some similarities with anthrax.
Does.
The English sweating sickness of the 15th and 16th century has also been attributed by some to the disease. However, others point to the hantavirus as the culprit. And in the early 1800s, an illness
I'm
known
not
as
wrong. The
Johnson's
problem is with
disease
humans are actually, scientifically animals. These viruses and these diseases are built to target animals. So when they come into contact with humans that have animal cells, they say, "Hey, look, there's a human. Let's kill the human," and then it starts.
Able to identify that the bacteria could be transmitted from animal to animal, though exactly how was discovered by German microbiologist Robert Koch and was published in 1876. Apologies to the German viewers for butchering the name. Robert identified the spores that spread the bacteria, and they were capable of lying dormant for years at a time.
That's
His
not
discovery was an important
scary at
one,
all.
as he was the first scientist to prove a link between a microorganism and the disease it can cause. A major step in proving the theory of germ transmission of disease. It was Louis Pasteur who first developed the vaccine for anthrax, though it was only suitable for use in animals. In a dramatic display of the vaccine's efficacy, Pasteur vaccinated 25 animals. He then injected these animals and another 25 with anthrax. All the animals without the vaccine died, whilst all those with the vaccine survived. With the introduction of a vaccine for animals,
Interesting.
cases of anthrax in humans dropped, as close contact with animals being one of the main reasons for infection. The vaccine was improved by Max Stern in 1937, which is today still the preferred method of vaccinating animals. As scientists sought to understand and fight the disease, many looked for ways to weaponize it. The efficacy of inhalation
Here comes the Soviet Union.
make it a desirable weapon of mass destruction. To put this into context, a mere 1 kilogram of aerosolized anthrax is capable of affecting a city of 10 million and result in around 100.
Basically Moscow size.
One of the first instances of weaponizing anthrax
Just the letters.
during the First World War. It was reported
Oh wait, no.
that the German military shipped horses and cattle infected with anthrax to the Allied forces, with the goal of disrupting
That's scummy.
logistics and cavalry. In 1917, a Swedish military officer named Baron Otto Karl von Rosen traveled to Russia with a goal of infecting horses and reindeer used by the British Army. This would be done with sugar cubes, each containing a small glass vial filled with anthrax. Once fed to the animals, the glass would break, cutting the gums and causing anthrax infection. In 1925, the Geneva Convention banned the use
Thank
of
God, Geneva
biological
Convention
weapons.
probably saved a bunch of lives.
This did not
Billions.
stop many
Billions.
countries from developing
Probably.
their weapons programs in these fields.
Bioweapons, in my opinion, they're too dangerous. Even if you wipe out your enemy, you still have to deal with the virus.
Unit 731 was set up to
I don't care how equipped you are to deal with viruses, there's always a mistake that leads to an outbreak.
subjects. One of our earliest videos covers Unit 731 for those interested to learn more, but the development of weaponized anthrax was one of the many projects at the facility. Unit 731 deployed anthrax spores from planes in attacks on Chinese civilians. As many as 4,000
That's a war crime.
civilians were murdered as a result of the tests carried out by Unit 731. In 1942, the British, Canadian, and American forces jointly developed their own anthrax research, led by the Porton Down Research Facility. It was realized that an area affected with anthrax would result in long-lasting contamination of the area.
Exactly why you shouldn't use bioweapons.
A bomb was developed and deemed a success, but was never used during World War II. The bomb was tested on Grenade Island, and as a result, the island was rendered inhospitable.
What?
Initial attempt used during World War
Ruin it
II.
Island?
The bomb was tested on Grenade Island, and
Grenade.
as a result, the island was rendered inhospitable. Attempts to decontaminate the island failed. It was not until 1986 that the island was decontaminated. This was because of a militant group known as Dark Harvest, who delivered containers of the contaminated soil from the island to Porton Down and to the Conservative Party conference. Dark Harvest sought to bring to the authorities' attention our long-ignored contamination, as opposed to actively fight anyone with the disease. For example, the sample that was delivered to the Conservative Party was not contaminated, although there are other groups who had much more murderous ideas. Aum Shinrikyo, a Japanese doomsday cult, attempted to cultivate anthrax into a viable weapon. An attempt was made to steal a potent strain from a laboratory, though in the end they were only able to provide a vaccine strain of anthrax. In June of 1993, the cult sprayed a liquid suspension of the bacteria from atop their headquarters building in Tokyo, Japan.
That's...
Thankfully, this did not have the desired effect, with no casualties, and the group received
Thank God no one was
for the action.
killed.
Instead, the group would turn to sarin, launching attacks on the
Sarin.
subway system in 1995.
That's probably
Shortly
worse.
after the September 11th terror attacks, a number
Sarin's a
of
very deadly
containing
chemical weapon.
spores were sent to a number of people and media outlets. Before long, letters were sent to Democrat senators. In all, 5 people were killed, with the suspect responsible being Bruce Ivins, a biodefense researcher, ending his own life in 2008. But perhaps the deadliest anthrax outbreak can be traced to Sverdlovsk in 1979. spores of the bacteria accidentally leaked from a Soviet military research
You're,
facility. It
you'll
is
see.
believed the leak occurred due to a faulty air handling system. Once out of the building, the spores were taken by the wind. At least 68 people are known to have died as a result, with many more infected. Those infected lived in rural villages nearby, as well as affecting workers of a ceramic factory. Despite the developments in antibiotics, vaccines, and our understanding, anthrax will remain one of the scariest diseases, in large part due to its potential as a biological weapon. Whilst there have been limited instances of its use as a weapon, it will remain a byword for terror. With its 90% fatality rate, it truly earns its reputation. But it's important to look at the wider context. Anthrax is no longer a death sentence. The key vectors for infection
That's a good these plagues.
remains with dormant strains, capable of lying in wait under the frozen tundra and permafrost.
That really when a disease can kill, but it's probably more scary when it can actually survive such a it's just if they can survive. Are brown pieces after?
You've probably heard the saying that brown pieces break all of the time. But is this actually true? Well, let's see. This whole thing started back in the early 2000s, where brown was far rarer than it is today. These sets would have a lot of thinner brown pieces, like plates and tiles. And when those sets are rebuilt today, the brown pieces do break all of the time, cracking into smaller bits or even turning into dust. But in 10 years, will this happen to the new brown Lego pieces? A couple years ago, Lego changed the materials they used. These have been way stronger and should withstand the test of time. If you're a fan of
Yeah, I've had a brown Lego piece. It's broken. Paul GG losing his 2-year-old Minecraft world due to hard lag.
There's so much sand. It's ridiculous. I thought placing all the things took a long time, but this took a very long time. But I will say that this is probably the most fun way I've drained. And literally all it takes is this one single sign. All I need to do is break this one sign, and this whole entire ocean monument drained. But yeah, that's what sponges are for. Regardless though, it's officially time now to beast loose. Drop all the sand on this ocean monument. So here we go. This is it. I'm nervous. I'm actually really nervous. There's something about this. I hope it works. I really do. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Oh. Immediately. Oh. Oh my gosh. All the signs are immediately broken. Oh no. It's like, dude, it's crashing. Oh no. That's good. I don't think Minecraft is supposed to be that small. My game literally, oh, there it goes. Okay. Yeah, no, that's it. I thought for sure my computer would be able to handle that. No, I'm a little nervous. Okay, let me try it again. Hold on. Okay, I think I might have ruined my world. I'm gonna mess around with this for a little bit and see if I can fix this. Okay, so I've messed around with a lot of the files, I've googled a lot of things, and ultimately, it seems the world might be lost.
Taking it like a champ. But what are days Minecraft Alpha? I'm alright. Wait a second, a new episode drops today. That's nice. Can't wait for that.
I'll be doing a brief overview of the version and the version between the previous version to show the features and what got updated. This took a lot of time and planning to execute, so consider leaving a like or even subscribing, and maybe even ringing that bell. Anyways, enjoy the show. InfDev was the most world-changing update in Minecraft history. It added infinite world generation, mostly. InfDev introduced the first Secret Fridays, Secret Friday 1 and 2. It added golden apples, signs, ladders, doors, buckets, rails, minecarts, dungeons, spawners, saddles,
Nice.
Instead improved on terrain generation and fluid mechanics. Brick pyramids and obsidian walls were added, but were removed in later Instead versions. On the other hand, the farmlands wouldn't be removed until beta 1.8. On day 1, I went over to
On Bedrock, they lasted for a while. It's like 3 years ago, and they banned them. Not banned, but they removed them.
And made my way to scout a location for my base. I found one, but I got distracted by some sheep. I promptly confiscated their wool. Night was falling, so I hastily made my wooden box, of which I called my home. Then I did some interior decorating, placed a new floor, and lit up my roof. Since I had nothing else to do, I went mining. But before going down further, I made some wool armor. From Alpha 1.0.0 through 1.0.4, there were 2 Secret Fridays. Secret Friday 3 and 4. Secret Friday 3 added iron doors, levers, redstone dust, redstone ore, redstone torches,
Basic redstone.
and 2 pressure plate types, oak and stone. This replaced cogs that were removed in this version.
I remember
Secret Friday 4 added
the thing about
icebox and
cogs.
snow with a chance for a winter map when creating a world. On day 2, I went hunting, hunt shearing, and gathered some wood. I made some more armor and cooked a single piece of food. I started to expand my house by terraforming around it as well as making the new dimensions of the house before demolishing the old walls to build a new one. I gathered some sand for windows and placed in the new floor. I rearranged my house and went mining for more stone. While mining, I found a cave, killed some mobs, and found some iron. On day 3, I continued to cave more and found more iron. I went back up to see sheep inside my house and stole their wool. I finished my floor, broke the old roof, chopped a bunch of trees, and went on a hunting spree. I made some iron tools, more wool armor, then went back to continue mining. I continued mining on day 4 until it was nighttime outside. I came back up and made a bunch of furnaces to process all the ore I mined. I crafted some iron armor and cooked a bunch of food. From Alpha 1.0.5 through 1.0.5_01, snow blocks and snowballs are added. Snowballs now require a shovel to harvest and stack in 8 instead of 64. On day 5, I gathered a lot of sand for glass to build my second floor.
Why are
as well
snowballs
as
stacked like
decorating
that? That's so
I
stupid.
started to construct the floor and walls of the second floor. Then I went down to mine and found some animals in the caves. Man, mob spawning in Alpha is weird. I mined until night of day 6. When I went back up, I smelted my iron and reorganized my chests. On day 7, I cooked food that would just not stack. As you can see.
Oh, I remember that. That was such a dumb feature.
On day 8, I finished my roof and went to explore. Though brief,
I hated how that.
nice and
Oh, doors never stacked either.
my inventory.
I'm about to say beds never stack. They don't. They still don't stack.
1.11, there were 2 Secret Fridays. Secret Friday 5 and 6. Secret Friday 5 added cactuses and boats, which could be ridden on and broken. Cows, leather,
Boats
and
are so
milk buckets were
fragile.
also added, though milk buckets had no use or way of obtaining. Leather armor is now crafted using leather instead of wool. Secret Friday 6 added reeds, clay, paper, books, and bricks. Slimes are also added and drop slime balls upon the death of the smallest variant. A recipe for bookshelves and bricks were added. Cactuses got an updated texture, causes damage only when collisions happen, and can only be placed on sand. On day 9, I gathered some seeds and made a tiny farm. I went down into the mines to get more iron and coal. Also got some gold in the process. Slimes were also in the cave, so I got some slime balls too. I kept mining into day 10 and went back up to smell my iron and gold. By the time I was finished, it was nighttime, so there wasn't.
That looks like a really good house, especially for that time.
Wood and started to make an elevated wooden bridge that started from my house. This build will be my main focus for most of the 100 days. On day 12, I continued to build the bridge further and further and elevated the bridge 10 blocks to keep space between the bridge and the ground. This would cost me dearly in materials in the future. From Alpha 1.0.12 through 1.0.14, Slimes got a new look and new sound effects. A temporary logo was added in Alpha 1.0.13_01 to celebrate 1,000 sales in the last 24 hours. Secret Friday 7 added jukeboxes along with the music discs, Cat, and 13. Chickens and eggs were also added, as well as new variants of minecarts. Cactuses can now.
Yeah, rest in peace, furnace minecart.
The textures for cows were changed and slime spawning reduced. Through days 13, 14, 15, and 16, I kept building the bridge and into
Done.
the mountain. Alpha 1.0.15 was more of a minor version. Lava could now set blocks on fire, and items appearance in third person got changed. Through days 17, 18, 19, and 20, I continued to build the bridge. On day 17, I broke through the mountain and saw the other side. I gathered tons of wood to build this ever-lengthening bridge. The bridge is approaching water, which would be a challenge for me in the following days. Alpha 1.0.16 and its minor versions mostly contained updates for multiplayer and not any for the game's content. On day 21, I continued to build the bridge, but by day 22, I made an expanded platform on the bridge.
Look good.
Case, it was already nighttime, but mods were much of a problem. On day 23, I went back home.
I don't really know why people say, "Oh, you're stuck in that era."
On day 24. As well as harvesting my tiny farm. That's a weird animal. This overview would be for the following 2 versions or 8 days. From Alpha 1.0.17 through 1.0.17_04, there was only one Secret Friday, Secret Friday 8. In Secret Friday 8, fences were added, though they were a little different from fences in modern versions. First of all, the recipe is different, but it lasted until far into the release versions. The really weird things were their properties. They were considered full blocks, didn't connect to other blocks that weren't fences, could only be placed when a block was below the fence, and could be placed on top of each other. There could be more, but those are the ones that I found out. Jockeys were also introduced, but for now they're only
Dude, that would annoy me because when I have to go up a block or down a block, I put a fence over just to make it connect.
Instead, they slowly glide
Not just because I have OCD, but that way they can't get through.
I don't really know how effective it was, but I did find my first diamonds. It only took 25 days. By day 26, I went back home to spawn my auras and did not harm those animals. On day 27, I wanted to see if fences looked good on the bridge, so I gathered some wood and made a bunch of fences. At first, I tried to place them down on dirt and broke the dirt later to see if they looked better floating. But eventually, I just placed wooden planks under the fences because I liked that look more and it was easier.
I remember how bad I was at building.
On day 28 up until the mountain passage. Then continued to build the bridge further, and at this point, we made it to the water's edge. On day 29, I gathered more wood to continue to build the bridge. But I went back home to take all the cobblestone in my chest because I wanted to switch it up a little bit. I used stone slabs for the pillars, and I kept building through day 30. Back home to make some iron armor because all my previous armor had broke. By day 32, I ran
Is that Harvest World I made small?
Much more cobblestone. I started to strip mine for some reason. Then my game started to lag and I saw mossy cobblestone above me. It was a spider spawner. I explored the cave a little bit more and realized it was a little too much for
Large world.
I found and left to continue mining for cobblestone. Full 1.1.0 was the last Secret Friday 9. The addition of the compass was the only update that was pertinent to the gameplay. Through day 33 and half of day 34, I kept mining. By the second half of day 34 and day 35, I went back home to process all the iron ore and made a
Oh my gosh, I can hear my puppy upstairs.
There was a secret Saturday, but there will only ever be one secret Saturday, and this will be the last secret update ever. Secret Saturday, a relatively game-changing feature introduced, crouching. I mean, there were other things that I added, like pushing rods, 5 new paintings, as well as changes to 2 paintings, and 2 new settings, mouse sensitivity, and volume.
You can hear her.
Up to the bridge, and then continue to build the bridge through day 38 and half of day 39. It was way easier to build because of crouch. On the latter half of day 39, I decided to try to get more stone only to die from being burned alive. I had to walk back home to grab some food and a bucket and then went back to get my stuff. I filled the bucket with water and then continued to mine for stone. Alpha 1.1.2_01 is the oldest version in the current launcher that still has sound. On day 41, I continued to mine and build a bridge into day 42. I got my stuff and went back home to reorganize and went back to mine for the rest of the day. By day 43, I went back home to continue to build a bridge and actually made it to the other side. As I ran out of stone, I went back to mine until the end of day 32. Alpha 1.2.0, otherwise known as the Halloween update, introduced a new dimension, the Nether. With the addition of the Nether, it added netherrack, soulstone, glowstone, carved pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns, and the Nether portal. New mobs are added.
Definitely not a reference right there.
Use texture for pigment in the files. The clock was added too, as well as new biomes such as the desert and tundra. The latter of which removed the winter focus. Vision was added along with cooked and raw fish furnaces now face the same direction as the player was placed. Grass blocks and leaves are now a darker shade and are dependent on the biome it's in. The HUD is removed when F1 is pressed. Pressing F1 in third person will now make it view the player's face. I'm able to see the sitting to the nether portal. I opened the portal and went into it and spawned into a cave. I went back into the portal to check where I spawned at. It wasn't at the original portal. I went back into the nether to explore and find something to the outside. The grass was heavy, so I quickly gathered as much glowstone as possible inside. I exited the nether and broke the second portal. On days 26, 47, and 48, I continued to build the bridge even further.
I like how they buffed this thing. It's so much better.
Alpha 1.2.0 gravel now spawns in the nether through days 49, 50, 51, and 52. The bridge continued this mountain. On the other side, I realized there was a chunk here. There was another huge ocean on the other side. The place where my tunnel popped out was a huge sheer cliff from the chunk area. I gathered some sand from the glass for the tunnel and waited the whole night for it to stop. Alpha 1.2.0_02, 1.2.1, and 1.2.1_01 all had minor updates. On day 53, I built a glass protection around the tunnel that is on every exit and entrance to a mountain. I gathered some wood and built the bridge.
No. Looking for iron. I shifts. That's there's platinum there. Doesn't matter. I can platinum and I can shimmer it down. Obliterated.
I went back to the bridge by nighttime, so I
Mine. Mine. Oh, mine. Mine. Mine.
By day 64, I was in the process of digging into the mountain. The glass finished melting, so I started to build a protection for the mountain entrance. Alpha 1.2.2a was a default version which added the ability to spawn nether portals by pressing F4.
That sounds overpowered. Minecraft's run that you can actually press up for.
Put me into the other side. There were some gaps in the mountain overhang, but I knew where to build it. On day 66, I was able to drink and push out the mountain and saw more water. Obviously, this would be the last overwater part. I still didn't trespass or let it to the outside.
My god, my dog is so hyper.
The gap in the intermountain.
Oh my god.
Day 67. Put them in the forest and blow it out next to the left. From the desert and immediately.
Just playing Terraria, you know what I mean? And then I can just hear my dog. It was way worse than this. It was way louder. She's not.
Harvested some cactus and left the back up. While trying to build this lobster cactus, I was ambushed by a creeper and another. This thing near the bridge a little bit, but it wasn't sure that I repaired the bridge and saw another creeper coming, but this time the bridge was left unscathed, and another creeper. On day 68, I continued to build a bridge until the wall. Then I started to mine to get stone for the last overwater part of the bridge. An outflow of 1.2.2 feet, lava now flows up to 8 blocks in the nether. On days 69, 70, 71, and 72, I mined for 4 straight days.
Showing up on the first page of Google might not be the best for everyone.
gonna lie. Oh, I like the video.
It took a really long time to make, and if you watch it through and hear this, thank you.
Maybe few people might not notice. Oh, there's a heart statue. You ain't doing nothing. "100 Days Minecraft Beta."
Welcome to another 100 Days in Minecraft. This time, we've graduated from alpha to beta. Also, please, I hope you all are having a great holiday season. We have a lot more people in the channel now than before because of the previous 100 days blowing up, which is amazing. So, welcome. Since there were so many requests for a world tour last time, I will
Shimmer
do a
me,
world tour
shimmer.
at the end of the video. I will also put downloads to the worlds, which also got requested many times. There will be 26 versions, 25 of which would be in the main 100 days, and the 26 would be during the world tour. This took a lot of time to make, so consider leaving a like or even subscribing, and maybe even ringing that bell. Anyway, enjoy the show. In Beta 1.0, chests now close when the player is too far. The chest blows up. Leaves now naturally decay again, and eggs can be thrown with a chance of spawning a chicken. Capes were introduced. When hovering over an item in the inventory, the name shows up. On day 1, I crafted some tools and torches and then went down to mine. I found many ores and then proceeded to go back up to process them. Then I organized my inventory and went up to the bridge to take a look around. I made some axes so I can gather wood on the next day. In the meantime, I stole the wool off their backs and killed their friends, and worked on their house.
And killed their friends.
On day 2, I went down to the dock, hopped on a boat, and went to chop some trees. I returned home by night, organized, and took what I needed to continue the bridge. I stupidly tried to build during nighttime from the bottom up, so I continued building the top first. Day was coming soon, so I jumped down to build the pillars, but the paparazzi had different ideas. On day 3, I
Lead.
tried to build the bridge supports and path. This tree was
If I put lead in, I get iron.
course of action is to build through it. Don't question me. Building into the night has consistently been a bad idea because I was ambushed yet again. Thankfully, I escaped and then waited till daytime. On day 4, I made my commute to the end of the bridge and started to collect more wood, which coincided with clearing out the forest that was ahead of the bridge. I went back to the bridge to continue, but then decided that it was a bad idea, so I retreated back home and continued the top of the bridge. Beta 1.0_01 only contained minor changes. On day 5, I crafted some wood and then continued.
Dude, how bad these skeletons are.
Got some coal and then made me a trapdoor. I went back and reorganized, made some axes, and then brought tools to the basement. I finished
6.
the wall of the basement to cobblestone, but daytime was coming, so I went onto the bridge to make my commute. On day 6, I went to farm more trees until nighttime. Then I trekked down into my basement to
Not
finish
bad.
I reorganized and then made my commute to continue building the bridge. On day 7, I continued to build the bridge. By the time night arrived, I made sure not to repeat mistakes and not build during nighttime. I returned back home to reorganize and then went out to light the surrounding area. I fended off mobs, killed some helpless pigs, and got some stone to add onto the house.
As you do.
I killed even more trees, continued on building the pillars and path while placing some torches to keep things lit up. I went back to chop trees until night fell, made more planks, and got ambushed. I built more of the walkway and then returned home to make more axes. When I left my house, the sun was rising, so I took a second to watch it. It was pretty nice. Beta 1.0.2 only contained minor changes. On day 9, I made my commute and then broke the temporary stairs. I continued to chop more trees with a little between time for some building. By nighttime, I returned home to get more axes and then went back onto the bridge. I tried building more, but ended up almost getting received a Christmas cake. People that played on the 31st also got a cake with the number 11 on it to celebrate the new year. The font actually didn't work on this version because it was missing the font file. On day 13, I organized my stuff and took a boat to I was left when it became nighttime, but I still not found another portion of my bridge. I got home safely and brought the entire bridge to build a bridge until nighttime. Then I made my way home to make what's in the only contained minor changes.
I don't know why, but they used to have where like if you smelted sand in the blast furnace, it'd go faster, and now in Bedrock Edition, it doesn't work.
I went back onto the bridge and finished the bridge path during the night. I also started to build the wooden archways for the glass protection and started placing the glass. Then a creeper trespassed onto my bridge, but then walked off. I continued to build the glass protection while getting shot many times by skeletons, which heavily degraded my armor to negligible at best. On day 18, I continued the glass protection until I ran out of glass, at which I went back home. I made a bajillion desert until nighttime. I went back home to stock up on some food so I wouldn't die. Continuing the glass protection, I finished this section and went on to the next. I built more arches and then started to build the glass and almost got blown up in the process. I got shot again, which got me pretty low, hence the emergency food. I built a little more on the glass and then went back home.
Yeah, right.
19.
Oh wait, yeah, right. There's no hunger.
And then proceeded to make even more shovels to dig even more sand, pour even more glass. That was a mouthful. Also a lot of sand. While the sun was rising, I made my daily commute and started gathering more wood until nighttime. I returned to the bridge and walked back home to craft more planks to smelt the sand. In Beta 1.2, cakes, dispensers, lapis, snow blocks, and sandstone were added. 2 new tree types were added, spruce and birch. Spruce only spawns in taigas, and birch spawn along oaks and forests. Colored wool was reintroduced with crafting recipes. Items that were added include bones, bone meal, cocoa beans, ink sacs, charcoal, dyes, and sugar. Sheep can now spawn naturally with a gray, light gray, and black coat of wool, and they can also be dyed. Squids were also added and drop ink sacs upon death, but there was a bug that actually let you milk a squid. I don't know how.
What?
Now drop bones, and spiders can climb up walls. The furnace now has a top texture and spawns a rotating model inside. Reeds are now called sugarcane, and workbenches are now called crafting tables. All tools got an increase in durability except coal tools, but they are faster than diamond. Coal, iron, and more now. I took the glass my furnaces and went on my way to the end of the bridge. I finished up making the wooden arches and started on the glass part.
I then lit up the bridge after finishing the glass. I went to the next part of the bridge and started building the glass protection. I built the arches then went home because I was running out of glass. I cooked the rest of my sand and by daytime I gathered my smelted glass and was making my commute again. By day 22 I finished the glass protection with some glass left over. I made a staircase down so I can have quick access to the ground. I took some time to explore what was ahead and then went back. By the time I made it back, it was turning night. I arrived at my home, reorganized, and made a bunch of pickaxes and armor, and got some food. Then I went back onto the bridge. It was a nice little walk. By day 23, I made it to the end of the bridge. I was having no success, but then I found a chunk area where I could find a cave. I started to probe around the area and found a small little cave. I was greeted by a creeper and got some coal from it. Since the cave wasn't too big, I tried to find another one, so I started mining down. Again with a less than welcoming greeting.
Oh my gosh, that arrow sound.
And then continue with my capitalist exploitation of the ores. For the rest of the day and day 24, I mined a lot and got many resources while facing many foes and persevering. In beta 1.2_01, a new painting was added, but there was no texture for it. On day 25, I continued to mine and got many ores, including some diamonds, as well as defending myself from many mobs. By the middle of day 26, I mined a lot of stuff and got a good number of diamonds. I started mining up to get out and then mark where I came out of. I then looked around for my bridge, and lo and behold, there it was. I just had to fjord a river and climb a mountain. Light work. When I got home, I reorganized my inventory and started to process my ores and cook some food. Then I went down to the basement to make the fireplace bigger. As more decoration, I dyed some wool and made a mock bed. It took me a little to figure out where to place it, but after walking back and forth from my house and basement, I ended up placing it on the second floor. Since my ores were finished smelting, I made some swords out of the iron and started to slaughter the local cattle population. That's not a cow. It wasn't all cows though, but sheep and pigs too. You know, inclusive murder. On day 27, I cooked the meat I got from last night and waited for my iron to finish smelting. I made the and proceeded to traverse my bridge. I made a pit stop to change the dirt into cobblestone. Then I continued on my way to the forest in front of the bridge. The forest was at my mercy, and I gave no mercy. By nighttime, that forest was decimated. I went back to the bridge and waited, and I did the exact same thing on day 28. In beta 1.2_02, lapis lazuli ore now drop anywhere from 4 to 8 lapis lazuli instead of 1. Ink sacks got renamed to ink sacks, and cocoa beans were renamed from cocoa beans. That sounded ridiculous because it sounded like I said the same thing twice. There was a function where if you press Shift F2, you would get a TGA file that was 1.8 gigabytes big. While taking it, the game would freeze and experience major graphical distortions. Not confirmed that this was test code and it would be removed in later versions. On day 29, I chopped like 2 trees. I don't know why. Then I destroyed the stairs down and continued to build a support beam.
Might need more doors.
Or whatever it is. I stupidly fell down, but at least I could collect the wood that dropped. I went back up and continued to build the beam. The bridge became dangerously close to the ground, which will haunt me later. But since it was night, I went back home. I reorganized and brought a ton of coal with me, actually all of it. I walked back until it was day 30, where I built the holders and continued the beam. Then I built the pillars until it turned night. I finished destroying the remnants of the stairs and placed in the last pillar. Since I couldn't really do much at night, I just kind of sat there trying to figure out what to do. I ended up just building the top portion of the bridge up until the hill. Lastly, I moved the stuff up to the end of the walkway. I finished moving up my stuff and went to kill more trees. Wow. Since when did this become Factorio? I did this until it turned night, at which I went back to my chest and made most of the logs into planks and waited for the night to be over. On day 32, I started to build the path all the way to the other end of the bridge. I finished building the walkway and then started to build the wooden arches for future glass protection. I was ambushed by a zombie and spider and was shot by a skeleton during all of this. At some point, I just had enough of building and just waited for the night to go away. But I did get to watch a sunrise though. Beta 1.3 introduced beds. Finally, you can sleep away the scary night. But if your surroundings are improperly lit, mobs will spawn. Redstone repeaters were also added, so you didn't have to use redstone torches to extend the signal. New slab types were added: cobblestone, wood, and sandstone. A new painting was added: the burning, which is the same painting that previously did not have a texture. Redstone dust gets darker the farther it is from the source. Sandstone now spawns under the sand, and double slabs drop both slabs when broken. Sulfur was renamed to gunpowder. Smooth lighting was added with the help of Mr. Messiah, and a new chunk storing method was implemented, which is based on the mod McRegion by Scabalis. In world creation, now I can customize the name and create more than 5 worlds. On day 33, I went to gather, but mobs would keep attacking me. After those were dealt with, I continued to chop more trees. By nighttime, I continued to build more of the wooden arches and lighting things up. At one point, I was shot off the bridge and had to run for my life. Walk for my life. I continued to build the arches until I was done. While returning home, I was shot a lot, but none landed. I made it home after a safe walk and reorganized my stuff. I made a bench to bring with me on my adventures. I also made paintings because I thought it would make my basement look better. Painting did kind of spruce up the place, but no time for relaxation. I got to manifest destiny on my way to victory. I made it to my chest to put away all my stuff and made some shovels. I went down to the beach and started to harvest as much sand as possible. By night, I walked back to the bridge and made some furnaces to smelt my freshly dug sand. I organized and then waited for the night to go away. While walking on the bridge, I stupidly, and I don't know what was going through my brain, walked off in the stupidest way possible. I made it to the beaches but caught the attention of some skeletons. Thankfully, I evaded them and continued to dig more sand. I continued to dig until nighttime of day 35, at which I went back to my bridge and stored all the sand in chests. I took out the glass from the furnaces, and somehow there was one sand left, so I smelted the remaining sand. Then I turned the wood into planks to cook the sand I just got, and then proceeded to wait the night away. On day 36, I did the exact same thing as yesterday. I dug, therefore I smelt, therefore I wait. But this time I added even more furnaces because I was impatient. Beta 1.3_01 contained only minor changes. On day 37, I did one more day of extensive sand excavation and processing before on day 38 where I started on the glass protection. I finished installing the glass of the walls on both sides but ran out and went back to restock. I went back to collect the smelted glass from the furnaces and continued to place glass, this time on the ceiling. I returned to my little outpost and then waited the night away. On day 39, I made my way to the end of the bridge and made a staircase down. I went to scout the area ahead. I got some pumpkins and continued forwards. I saw a vast body of water and had my cortisol levels rise. Then I walked back home and chopped some wood so I wouldn't think about that blasted body of water. By the time it was night, I returned to the staircase and up the end of the bridge. Surprisingly, the hardest thing to move was my harnesses. Those suckers took forever to mine. I eventually moved everything, but by the time I was finished, it was day 40. I went down to chop more trees to continue the bridge. I returned by nighttime and put all my stuff away. I tried to sleep many times, but mobs kept spawning. It was so infuriating, so I just stopped because I kept getting attacked. These old bed mechanics are so annoying, so I just waited the night to go away. In Beta 1.4, locked chests, otherwise known as Steve Coast supply crates, were added. They would spawn around the world, and when opened, there would be a GUI that had a button that would redirect to the Minecraft website.
That was an April Fool's thing.
Sneaking on a ladder will now make the player stay in place. Cookies got added and replenished half a heart and can be stacked up to 8. Cocoa beans can now be found in dungeon chests. Wolves are added and could be tamed. Farms can no longer trample crops. Infrastructure for achievements and statistics have been added, and the default hotkey for inventory is now E instead of I. Lastly, a new Mojang and Minecraft logo was added. On day 41, I went out to gather more wood. I had to kill off some creepers. That night. Then I started to chop a tree and got stuck up on by a creeper. I was stuck half a heart and then died from fall damage. Somehow, I was just on the right amount of health to die. Not from the creeper, but from fall damage. I spent the whole rest of the day walking back. I got my stuff in the end, but a whole day was wasted. By day 42, I went back to Logmore and made sure that I wouldn't die from a creeper again. I got a couple stacks of logs and walked back to the bridge by night. I had a creepy crawly follow me, so I had to put it down. I put away the wood and built the staircase. I took the wood back and started to build a bridge. I continued until I made it to the hill, then stopped because of the risk of having mobs get on my bridge. I built the holders, lit the bridge, and started to build the path. On day 43, I made more planks and continued on the walkway. I had one more section of the bridge before installing the pillars of the bridge. After that, I continued to build the bridge into the mountain. By nighttime, I went on guard for mobs, especially creepers. I started to install the glass protection until the next day. On day 44, the glass kept being placed, but mobs all over the place. More creepers. Too many of them. After I back to get some coal and started to mine. I continued to mine until the end of the day and made it to the side of the hill. In beta 1.4_01, the lock chests were partially removed, but were still obtainable through cheats and exploits. In beds now for the rest of the day, I kept building this weird semi-tunnel bridge section. I don't know what to call it. It's like cheese, but no hills were harmed in the day. I returned to my chest and put away my stuff. Then I walked back further and got some glass, and then walked back to start the glass protection. Many mobs fell through, so I tried to quickly finish up the glass. By day 46, I finished up digging the tunnel and changed up the dirt's copper. Then I made a little portal from the tunnel and walked around for food. Next, I built the bridge up until the water and started to make an intersection on the bridge. While looking at the place, I got the idea to make up my house. Hence the intersection. I couldn't really continue more, so I just put all my stuff into a chest. I went back to the previous chest, took some coal, and walked back home. By day 47, I took all the wool and roses and made a set of iron armor. Then I went to tax the sheep outside my house in wool. After that, I traveled back to the end of the bridge and started to install the pillars of the intersection. By the time I was finished, it was night, so I just waited it out. On day 48, I scouted around the local area to find some trees to chop. I gathered some wool, killed the pig, and went back to the bridge to start the bridge offshoot. I finished building the top section by night, and then proceeded to wait out the night. Beta 1.5 added saplings for birch and spruce trees, which drop from their respective types of leaves. Cobwebs are added, but unobtainable until Beta 1.8. New rail types are added, detector and power. Detector rails will detect when a minecart rolls over it and outputs a red zone signal. Power rails will make the minecart go go quickly when powered and stop when unpowered. Sleeping through thunderstorms is now possible and fire spreads slowly. Grass blocks now have consistent side grass colors instead of neon blue. Pigs turn into zombie pigmen and creepers turn into charged creepers when struck by lightning. Inventory management was improved with the addition of shift clicking, which would break the whole stack between inventories. Weather was introduced. Now I can hear rain without the sound slider. The alternate ladder glitch no longer works. The geolat cannot be changed from small, normal, large, and auto, which to date I still don't know what it means. I always guessed that meant automatic. On day 49, I brought some of my stuff in my patch chest and started on the lighthouse. But first, I had to finish up the bridge. I finished up the pillars and started to terraform the little boat. I went back to get the wool and flowers and made some red wool. I had to look up some reference images because I forgot what a lighthouse looked like. I decided to make a classic red-white lighthouse, but since I didn't have enough red wool, I went out to gather more dye and wool. I didn't think flowers would be hard to find, but I was so wrong. I was literally searching for flowers until nighttime, at which I hid in a hole until morning. On day 50, I made a mad dash for my life and to collect some flowers and wool on my way, and also made some red wool. I made it back to the base of the lighthouse and started to experiment and built it. I built the first section fairly quickly, but then got stuck at the second one. Not only did I run out of wool, I reached a dilemma on how to make something square, round. Anyway, I traversed the land and searched for more wool and poppies. I did also get some wild game in my dirt. I continued to search for dye and wool until nighttime. I returned to the outpost and continued on the lighthouse. I made a couple revisions and ended up on something that didn't look too bad. Then I started to install a wooden floor and stairs so I can go up and down the lighthouse. On day 51, I continued the stairs until I reached the top. I went back down to gather more wool and dye to continue to tower up the lighthouse. Who knew that trying to
Now I
make a
can
lighthouse was
work on
this
these
hard? Since I
bedrooms.
didn't have enough wool to finish the third section, I just put a little marker so I can imagine what the end result would be. Since animals didn't spawn at night, I just waited down. On day 52, there was a thunderstorm which confused me because of how dark it was. I knew it would be cloudy, but it was almost as dark as modern Minecraft nights. I still started to gather wool with little success and almost died to the spiders. I used what little wool I had left to build more. Then I went back out with a little bit more success of finding sheep. I came back and left the lighthouse and almost finished the tower by literally cutting corners to conserve wool. I had to be really creative in these stairs to maintain ascension. Honestly, the lighthouse ain't looking too bad. Beta 1.5 which was consisted mainly of minor changes. On day 53, I gathered the last bit of wool I needed to finish up the tower. Then I looked up some references for the top and just made my own. I went back to get some cobble to plant and smelted some for stone. I started to plant the top and continuously go back and forth to check whether it looked good from below. Then I started to change the cobblestone to stone because I was satisfied with how it came out. On day 54, I continued to build a top out. At this point, I was just trying to get some walking space on top. After that, I placed a wood deck so I could walk around. It took a little bit of messing around, but I ended up making the staircase just head upstream. I marked the center and then went down and get glass. I then started to install the glass window so I could see out of it and the light could shine through. I went down to see how it looked and it looked alright, so I finished up the glass. Then I traveled all the way back home and made a diamond pickaxe and got all the glowstone I had, which wasn't much. I was hoping that it was a 2x2 crafting recipe, but internally I knew it was 3x3. Since I didn't have another portal here, I traveled back to the old house where my nether portal resided. I continued to walk through day 55 and entered my nether portal. I spent the rest of the day and into day 56 gathering less than half a stack of glowstone blocks. Since they only dropped one dust, it was 9 blocks broken to 1 block crafted. How annoying is that?
What?
Eventually, I made the 27 block
9 glowstone for a glowstone block?
walking
That's a
away from the
scam.
portal back to the portal. I had an epic battle with gas, which resulted in a tie. I made it back to the overworld and started to travel back to the lighthouse for the rest of the day. Beta 1.5 which was version contained minor changes. Beta 1.6 introduced new foliage, grass, ferns, and dead bushes. Trapdoors are also added, although there are only wooden ones. Maps are also added, which let the player see more of the world. Beds now exploded nether when slept in, and fire has been heavily nerfed and don't cause extreme forest fires anymore. Ice regenerates even when it's not snowing in colder biomes. When missing a spoon, the 10 tick cooldown has been removed. Shift clicking now also applies to crafting and building. Fun fact, this is the first version of Betrayal. On day 57, I continued to walk to the lighthouse. Once I made it to the lighthouse, I needed a placeholder for the monkey. I went back down to see how it looked like from below. It looked good, so I smelted more stone and started to make the roof. I was almost finished with the roof, so I started with the center lane. Then I went back down to get more stone, finished up the roof, and started to lay out the place like crazy. I replaced the cobble under the deck for continuity sakes. I broke the pillar and then left it for a use on the nice and cooked up some food. Then while eating, I realized my food was broken. My meat was infinite. I had infinite meat. I never thought how weird it was until I said it. I then finally placed the stone slab pillar under the light in the lighthouse. On day 58, I started to make a mine to gather stone and found some diamonds in the process. I went back up to make a chest to put all my stone in, and then went back to continue mining. Through day 59 and 60, I continued to mine for stone and found many other ores in the process. I ended up with almost a full double chest of stone. Beta 1.6.1 and Beta 1.6.5 mainly consisted of minor changes. On day 61, I opened the world and saw a surprise. My state
What?
I crafted them into planks and started to smelt a bunch of cobblestone. After the addition of cobblestone slabs, I needed smooth stone to make stone slab, which made it a lot harder. I got a couple stacks of slabs and then started to build a support beam. I continued building until day 62 until I made it to the other side. I went back and all my stone exploded out my furnaces. I quickly threw an S and made some stone slabs. Since I was finished with the beam, I set it up the whole thing. I built it the next day while writing the bridge. Day 63, I walked back and got all my wood and cobble and started smelting. Every time I tried to put stuff in the furnaces, they would just explode out, and I would just have to feed the furnaces twice. It was very repetitive and already annoying enough. I made some iron pickaxes and went down to mine some. I knocked out a bunch of stone out and then went back up to start to collect my stone. Slowly. I made some slabs, and by day 64, I started to build the pillars. I kept building, but I ran out halfway through. I went back to making more slabs and continued to make even more pillars. Placing slabs is infuriating because you basically place it twice as much at half the price. I kept building until nighttime, but it still wasn't enough. I walked back all the way and started doing the same old smelting cobble again. On day 65, I continued to bridge my mining because I still needed stone. Can't you tell that I don't like making stone bridges? I went back up and put my stone away and then went back. I found some diamonds while mining, a nice plus. As I was almost up the stairs, I saw more stone on the ground. What is going on here? I reorganized and made some slabs and continued building the pillars. I built and built and built and almost died build back here. I finally finished and started walking back to my outpost. On day 66, I grabbed all my cobblestone and continued to build the wall. I had 6 stacks and could barely finish 1 of 3 rows of cobble. Meaning, after I finished lighting the bridge, I had to go back down and mine even more stone. I am a dwarf and I'm big, I finished mining just to finish another row and start on the third one. By day 67, I was going to mine again, but since I depleted my iron so much, I had to smelt more iron for more picks. Diggy diggy hole diamonds! After clocking out, I finished building the bridge and went back just to put a couple things away. I went back to the other side and waited for night until a beautiful sun arose. On day 68, I scouted around the mountain for a spot for my new base, and decided that it would be a great spot for my new home. I continued to look around and got some pumpkins on my way, as well as some sugar. I found some grass, which is still rare for me because I still live in old chunks. I returned to the bridge and walked back to my house by the end of the day. I grabbed some armor and some precious materials with me. Can't forget food on a trip, that's always important.
Is there anything
Then I
besides
started
rope that you can
building.
climb?
On day 69, I continued to go to my chest and organize. Then I walked to the end of the bridge and then stairs going down. Since I was done with the stone section of the bridge, I needed to get wood. I was a little late to gather wood, so I had to go back, but there were skeletons camping my way back. I had to loop around them while being shot a lot. Eventually, I made it back to the bridge and made a new outpost at the new end of the bridge. I waited through the night because it was too dangerous. On day 70, I walked as quick as possible through the mobs so I could continue to chop more wood. I chopped more trees until it turned night, after I returned back. I made some planks and continued the bridge. I went all the way until the mountain face. While on the bridge, I got back to the and I was finished. When I did the first, though I didn't make the pillars because it was night. Day 72, I made iron pickaxes and started mining. I spelled them out and found the parts and spot in the future base. I continued mining afterwards until I found out close enough to the mine. Then I started to make an off-tree for a while. I recessed with the enemy so it would be it wasn't just a matter of location, but a little bit place. I returned down and continued making the tunnel up and had to pretty much chop the hole that it was missing out. I went back to the top of the also for a rapid, last one. To the center of the base. The structure was served for a castle as a fortress, or at least as epic as the great castle came to be. After I started mining borders and started excavations, the castle was built over the area I placed it in. There were some hanging spots and I almost died while trying to mark the border. After that, I spent the rest of the day digging, sun and night, dry and hard. By the time it was morning, I made
Yeah, I think there's something called silk rope, apparently.
dig through all of day 70. It took a little while, but not as long as I expected. I built a little room for the wall and then went back to digging. On day 74, I returned to the foundation and built a lot of things. I destroyed all the pictures of the circle with this wood. I finished the floor and then used some leftover cobble to start building the walls. I continued until I finished the first floor walls and then built a market for the rest of the floors. I went down to see how it looked like and I could already imagine how it would come out. I returned to the old outpost to get whatever I need. I took some random stuff.
Need some rope.
By the time I returned back to the castle, mobs had started spawning.
Normal rope, not anything like special rope.
I continued with the first wall
Nope.
until it was at the height I wanted, which was
Nope.
apparently at the clouds. Since I was on the first one,
No.
I made some iron pickaxes and crashed it. What I did was I attempted to shift it and I looked into a chest that was full, so to have left. Now I had to make the last over.
Minecraft doesn't process the fact that I guess.
So I led it to the laboratory. The skeleton fell down, and his helper moved died twice, since it was already a skeleton instead of already died. I returned to the mine by day 75 and
Can't find any rope.
I returned to the castle to continue placing the walls. After I landed, since the walls were high enough, I started to place the second floor. On day 76, I went down to the local forest to log because I ran out. I logged until nighttime, after which I returned to keep making the second floor and making sure it was lit. Once I was finished, I started on the third floor and continued until morning. On day 77, I finished on the third floor. Then I made the battlements and the metal roofs. Since the walkway to the bridge to the castle has been unlocked,
There's not some. There has to be something here. Yep, there is.
I walked back and forth, and so on, destroying outposts and building materials. The bone chests, crafting tables, furnaces, and even checking the mine outside. I also went back to the now old house and pulled out any items of importance. Unlike last time, I didn't know everything. It took until day 80, and still they were reorganized. Beta 1.6.6 changed the material of glowstone from glass to stone, which makes it now require a pickaxe to mine. Redstone, torches, and feathers can now be placed on glowstone, and they drop 2 to 4 gems per instead of 1. Crafting cost was reduced from 9 dust to 4. The same change effectively. This version was also the first version to be released on console. On day 81, I spent like half a day making a grand staircase. It had 4 different stairs on 2 sides. I ended up making the stairs more block-like by filling under it with wood. I also planned another fireplace because I just love it. Then I went up to start setting up the new chests. First, I placed the furnaces around with the chimney. It's just that I would never make a chimney. Then I placed the chests with half the tables and made a cement. I spent the rest of the day into day 82 to organize all my chests. It was a pretty annoying ordeal. I made some changes to the inside, kind of reminiscent of the old house. I started on making the fireplace and putting some fire prevention measures so it doesn't burn down the floors. I made a ladder up to the roof so I can access it. While organizing my chests, I told the police to let me bricks to use for the fireplace. Then I added fire and tried to make it as realistic as possible. Not even a minute passed, the fire almost broke down, so I used slabs to stop it. On day 83, I explored the entire find more clay. I did find out that clay was extremely rare and completely disregarded. I should have paid attention. I did not find any clay in my day of exploration, so instead, I just conserved the bricks and placed it where it looked the most. I finished up and cleaned up the place. Then I just waited until the next day. On day 84, I got a couple pickaxes and a shovel and started making the farm. I mined down for what felt like forever, and then went back up to restock it all at once. I made more tools and continued to mine
Why
down.
can't I craft?
Build 1.7 produced pistons from
There we
mine
go.
by Hippopotamus, who gave code to help Jet with implementation. Bricks and cobblestone got a texture change. Cobbles require a sword or shears to break and drop 1 string. Also, shears are added. It's required to obtain meat and wool from sheep and drop 1 every wool. There's also coincided with the sheep punching hole. The punching hole also provides TNT and part of the The Summer Gears texture was added, but currently there is no mod. Beta 1.7 also had a trailer for it. On day 85, I started making piston tools because I was kind of sick of dirt dirt. I made some pistons and other things that went down. I was just planning to make a 2x2 piston. First, place the pistons and fire it up. Since the cast was cable, it was satisfied and it worked, so I no longer and yes, I no longer log it because of my pressure points. This is probably the most fun thing I did all video. I started to smell some sand and build arches on the roof. Since it wasn't too big, I had enough to build an arch but not enough glass. One section takes like a stack and a half glass, and a lot of glass. I made a couple shovels and stealthily gathered sand in the metal. It didn't work, we got regular sand. I went back and smelted it for the rest of the day. On day 86, I collected my glass and went out and
Do I have any? Oh wait, diamonds.
it didn't take too long. Then I made some axes and went down and got some wood. I went back to the village and continued building them. I started to build a folder and went back and visited the skeletons. I didn't want to die again at the end of the 100 days. Before the morning, I started to head out and collect the village on day 87. After that, I continued the holies and started the path. I finished building the path and built it. I continued another couple of sections and then started to build wall with arches. Last year, I built the most and started to place the pillars. This is right next to the mountain. I went to get more glass. I went up to smelt it and then waited for it to be finished. Then I climbed down to finish up the mountain. Beta 1.7.2 consisted mainly of minor changes. On day 89, I got some tools and went down the mine. I stripped mine for 4 days, making trips back every so often to put away my findings. I found many diamonds to my expedition. I also found a lot of gold, iron, gold, lapis, and redstone. I also went into a desert. It had a good food and nothing special. All my stuff got replenished to a good level. Beta 1.7.3 was some distance communication potions. On day 93, I organized a little and went down and gathered wood. Then I returned back home to store a bunch of pallets. This will be important later. On day 94, I went back and placed the pillars in the mountain entrance before the castle because I apparently forgot. After that, I continued to smelt more stone and started making spirals and towers. spent all this time on low towers in the mountain. Go find the low tower spots. They are completely stable. I returned home after finishing the areas and killed some food. Then I just waited through the night. On day 95, I made another expedition to explore the lands. I made some boats to travel faster on the water. The land's really becoming livelier with more variety. I hunted some pigs on the way. Since the sun was starting to set, I started to return back home. I hopped in my boat, added a second leader, the creeper snuck up on me, and exploded. At least I only lost my diamond pickaxe. Well, actually, I also lost my glitchy ability, which might have been more of a loss. I spent the rest of the day walking back. On day 96, I made a pit stop at my old house to raid the loot chest and grab a set of armor and some other stuff. I made it back home and put away all my stuff. I grabbed my diamonds and
I might want to change the background walls. I don't know.
accomplishment that was different from modern versions. Diamond armor is no longer hard to obtain, but this is hard. I processed some ores and collected this one. Apologies if I miss anything in this version because Beta 1.8 was a pretty big version. One of the most controversial updates in Minecraft. Beta 1.8, otherwise known as the Adventure Update, introduced many major changes. First and foremost, the new hunger system. Food now replenishes the hunger bar.
Oh.
Most food can stack up to 64 and the food level goes down and the actions move forward. When hunger is above 90%, it heals the player half a heart every 4 seconds. And when it's at 0%, the player loses half a heart every 4 seconds. Sprinting was also introduced and replenishes the hunger bar. Sprinting now allows the player to jump over 4 blocks now. Previously, it was 2. This greatly enhanced the gameplay since now you can traverse quickly. Raw chicken restores 2 hunger and has a 30% chance of killing the hunger effect. Cooked chicken restores 6 hunger, raw beef restores 3 hunger, cooked beef restores 8 hunger, and uses the old pork chop texture. Melons were added and slices restore 2 hunger. They are harvested from melons and are used to craft poison. Pumpkin seeds are used to grow pumpkins and can be found in dungeon chests. Water flesh restores 4 hunger and 80% chance of getting the hunger effect. Cooked pork chop got texture update because of the addition of cooked meat. Mushroom stew now restores 8 hunger instead of 10 health. Golden apples restore 10 hunger and different generation 30 seconds instead of 20 health. The new experience system added XP that dropped from mobs went down. Right now, there's not much usage here. Many blocks were added. Stone bricks, slabs, and stairs were added with mossy and cracked barriers. Infested stone was also added with variants of stone, cobble, and stone bricks.
I kind of like the look of golden bricks.
Both red and brown and mushroom down is obtained from a tall mushroom. Tall mushrooms are full of bone-wheeling mushrooms and don't naturally spawn. We've known that cave was placed by players and shears can be used to obtain crafts, as well as mines. Also added. Chests now have a new model and are a little bit smaller than a full block. Pressure plates can be placed on fences and textures from awesome
Yes and no, actually.
Bars need 6 of the respective materials to craft, and fence gates require 4 sticks for 2 planks. Beta 1.8 added many mods and changed some. Cave spiders are smaller variants of flattened and they can give the player poison. Endermen are 3 blocks tall and can use
I'm gonna look on the Wikipedia.
They can teleport around the map wherever they place and pick up blocks. Pre-release versions of 1.8 had Endermen with black particles and green eyes instead of purple eyes and coral.
I know that.
When looking at their face, they will start to get hostile and attack the player. They cannot go into water, otherwise they start taking damage. They also drop an ender pearl when killed. Silverfish were added to the texture that was previously added. They spawn from infested blocks and strongholds. The skeletons now drop arrows as well as bones. Since bows now need to be charged to shoot, it also applies to skeletons. They also now hold full-size bows instead of the item texture. You can now block with a sword and hit vertical hits, which deal more damage. They also changed many passives. Pigs now scout for tree, one chicken, and not more than 3 They both drop the cooked variation of the meat they drop on the cooked fodder. New biomes were introduced. They include new oceans that replace the old ocean. The new oceans are now bigger, deeper, and the ocean floor is composed of dirt, clay, and sand. Clay is now more common. Plains and deserts increased in size. Extreme hills had a mountain generation update. Time is no longer spawn snow because of generation problems. Swamps were added with oak trees that spawn wood vines. Workers are also added to spawn close to the biomes. The farmlands were removed, as well as many other old biomes. They include snow forests, rainforests, shrublands, savannas, tundras, and ice deserts. Though ice could never spawn. The old beaches and gravel beaches were also removed. New structures were added. Mine shafts spawn underground with wooden supports and chests string around that contain loot. Ravines were added and were huge crevices in the ground that had exposed wood. Strongholds were added and contained loot, but there wasn't any end world yet. Villages are composed of houses, but as of right now, they do not have any inhabitants. A new game mode was introduced, Creative. Creative mode let the player obtain most everything. The player can fly and cannot be killed unless they fall into the air. They can also break previously unbreakable blocks like bedrock. When transitioning from night to day and day to night, the light no longer updates in blink, instead updating more gradually to look less harsh. Beta 1.8 also added status effects. Regeneration increases health slowly and is found in golden apples. Hunger increases the hunger bar quickly and is found in wild flesh every so often canonical cave spiders. The main menu background is now a panorama of a world-specific dirt background. These are the details for the world and where it was at. Video 1.8 had a trailer as well. On day 97, I fixed the lighting issues and put all my food into one stack. I grabbed my stone and went down to make the stone furnace. I tried to move as high as I actually did. It was a skeleton, so I killed it with some carnage and pieces. I continued on the other three power to quickly roasted it. By the end of the day, I made some iron bars and chipped the slabs and rollers. Then I slept with it. On day 98, I made the boats and went on another exploration. I walked on my bridge to the staircase that
What's
goes
this?
underground. I jumped for a long time while playing.
Yep.
I killed the local animal population and brought a tiger back. I chopped a couple of trees and grabbed a sapling for safety kits. I also found some exposed ore in the ground, which I took. I kept killing more animals and found a giant slab of ice and skated on it. On the other side, I saw a swamp. I ran around the swamp for the beach and decided to head back to the base. It wasn't rough journey since it was nighttime, but I had animals struggling. Oh, wait. By day 99, I was close to the bridge because the land started to be flat. I found the bridge and walked back to my building. I cooked my food and the few iron ore I got. I put away my stuff and smelted my clothes more. I collected some stuff and made a clock. I went to press to fully convert the fireplace to bricks and also changed the slabs to the brick stairs. I went outside to light my surroundings while I had something to light the gas on my property. I had an edge slab on the fireplace and made a little table and couch. I built the couch and then I put away my stuff and went to bed. On day 100, I used the land to build the things on skeleton. It felt weird even though I've been playing on those mechanics for years. I went back to my chest and grabbed some cacti and sugarcane for a block. I walked onto the bridge and jumped to the water to grab some. The water's a little weird. I didn't make the block I was in to a source block. This wasn't fun. Then I didn't make the water source instead of the line that I only made a couple rows before I started to make the cactus farm. I made sure to space the cacti so it wouldn't destroy each other when growing. I went back to the sugarcane and intended. By the time I realized that mom was spawning on the towers, and as quickly as it started, payday. The 100 days are over. But now we get to the world tour, so let's release one of the two parts. A beta part and an alpha part. We're going to beta part first because I'm already here, and it's easier to do that instead of an alpha part. So first, the castle. Technically the castle was made last, but we can gloss over that. Basically this castle is my new base of operations, and it has furniture and all the items in here. On all my good stuff, and I have a lot of good stuff. A full set of diamond armor and a full set of tools. We got our paintings. They are a little bit off because of the lighting from changing versions so quickly. And our fireplace is completely fireproof. I made sure. Got my chair. I don't know what it's called. And my table to sit here. I don't know who would sit here, but whatever. Got my stairs, and this is my way of exiting. Just do it. This is my front entrance. It's a nice piston door that I made in 1.7. Got a sugarcane farm and a cactus farm. And then you have a nice view over everything. I keep forgetting that you can run it on the way down. You have a great vista, great of all the lights below. It's a little bit of old generation, but you can see a little bit of grass. And the way to go to the bridge from this castle is through here. So let's go down to the bridge, and we have a nice little tunnel here, so we don't get shot at or exploded at or hit at during nighttime. Go down the ladder, and here we're at the bridge. Going here, we're going to the end of the bridge, which there's nothing exciting over here because it's just a bridge. Now we're gonna head over to the other parts. Okay, so the lighthouse is right over there, and see what's happening, and we have our glowstone light.
Any demonite? About demonite bricks. I need Ebon stone blocks. Kinda actually like that. I downgraded Minecraft until it
picture
breaks.
this. You've created a Minecraft world in 1.18. You make a mine, build a house, get diamonds. Then one day, you decide that you wanna do some PvP. So you switch to 1.8, enter a PvP server, you kill some people, die a couple of times. At the end of the PvP session, you just wanna relax. So you enter that survival world again, without realizing you're actually using a version that's 8 years older than the one that you created the world in. So you enter the world and, well, most of your stuff is missing. Your house is gone. It's just a sad picture. And also a picture that made me wonder, could a Minecraft world created in 1.18 that you take to every version of Minecraft still work and be beatable in the first version of Minecraft? Well, let's find out. So yeah, today we're going to be doing something very extreme, or at least as extreme as downgrading a Minecraft Worlds version gets, which you'll find out is pretty extreme for a block game from 2011. So we start our adventure off in the newest version of Minecraft, which as of recording this video is 1.18.2. We'll be changing versions from official release to official release, as, well, I don't know how stable the other versions are. I mean, I don't even know how stable these versions are. First up, we're going to see if downgrading a world from 1.18 to 1.0 will actually work, because it actually might not work. And then if it does work, for the fun of it, I'll do it in survival mode, because I like Bane. Yeah, let's begin. So here we are in a 1.18 world. Here's a seed if you ever wanted that. I mean, there's nothing that really happens here. Yeah, let's change versions for the first time though. I get some warnings, which I, of course, ignore. And then, upon logging in, oh, how do I say it? Well, we're just in a different world. As you can see, the mobs are still there. Some of them are actually floating in the sky. Yeah, it's weird.
Let's kill this
Just
thing. It's
version
more
change,
than
yet so many things
time.
change.
No, I
It's
think
really
it'll.
weird that when we change seed, all the mobs are still there. Yeah, it's very wild. Well, anyways, I mean, apart from that, the version still works pretty fine. There's not doing anything that's broken, so let's change version again. Well, what's the worst that can happen, right? Nothing went wrong. Like, 1.16 just works. I mean, all the mobs are gone. Like, even the villagers, which, well, that's not very cool, but I mean, apart from that, it's perfectly fine. So, that's a plus. Seriously, I just said that not being a different world is a plus. Why did you have to read all that for me? Well, anyways, 1.15 sends us in a different world. Yeah. Again, yeah, not just any different world, because it actually sends us to Seed Zero. And it does that every single time you change your world from 1.16 to 1.15. It just sends you to World Zero. So yeah, I mean, now we're in Seed Zero. Yeah, the very least is like unpredictable, like, because it happens absolutely every time. You can't stop it, nothing can deal with it, so when we're doing it in survival mode, know to be careful.
Do these spheres spawn the either worlds every 2 times you do it? Oh no.
1.14 doesn't really change the world. Well, it does changes to the world. As you can see, the mushroom that I'm standing on is full. Like, it's almost like it's being completely reset, whilst just the version before that was actually standing inside of it, like they made a hole inside of the mushroom. I'm still not sure if everything in the world gets reset or just certain things, but it's still very, very weird. I mean, apart from that, the version works completely fine, but I mean, it's still very weird. Don't do that. Why? 1.13 on the other hand just doesn't want to work. Yeah, it just doesn't work. I mean, that's it.
Oh, I remember 1.13 was plagued with a few issues
It happens every single time you try to load the world.
regarding
So you might think
performance.
that that's the end. No, we actually found a solution. Well, it's not really a solution. I mean, it's kind of a solution. It's actually, I mean, but of course, the most logical thing when a version doesn't work is to just use a different version. Yeah, just use it. I think sense, does it? So yeah, 1.12, it actually lost the world, and it actually works. Like, it's so confusing, it doesn't make any sense, but I mean, it just works, can't really argue with that. So yeah, I mean, 1.12 just works completely normally, doesn't really have any problems with it, at least fine. And yeah, still on C0 by the way. Okay, so the next couple of versions don't really have anything wrong with them, so yeah, I guess that we can just do like a quick lightning round. I think I would just go through a couple of versions in like 20 seconds. Look at these
Your
negotiations.
world does not last long.
Going in
actually 1.8, which is where I think the problem start to occur. So this island right here, for some reason, it's cursed. Yeah, the game just crashes.
Because this world is just nothing but corruption, I guess.
Want to load in again. So,
Bad if you're
yeah,
starting, great for me right now. Where is this dude? Let's get. Oh wow, he already died.
Oh, by the way, I lowered it. This is because I think that it's actually a check issue. Not really the whole load being corrupted might work, but 1.6 on the other hand, definitely. So,
Let's
yeah,
dome this guy.
that, you know, the world
That didn't take long.
is becoming a bit of a trend. And, you know, that actually continued wouldn't work. I actually nearly gave up. There might be a check issue. I'm actually not sure anymore. But yeah, that continued for a while. So yeah, 1.2.1 somehow just fixed the world. It didn't work for like 5 versions in a row, and then 1.2.1 just fixed it. Like everything works. The same world and everything. I noticed these weird, like, things, it's almost like it's spread out on the island. And when I tried to approach
Oh
it,
god.
well, the game just crashed. So yeah, 1.1 worked perfectly fine. Except, you know, for the fact that well, it spawned us in a different world again. Is that becoming a bit of a trend? Like, it's happened like 4 times now? Or was it 3 times? I don't know, I can't even count that high. But yeah, as I said, you know, apart from that, the world just works perfectly fine. I mean, it's a brand new world, so you can't really expect it to be broken in any way. Let's change versions one last time and try to beat the end of the iron. Which will probably work because we're actually in a whole different world. Again. So here we are, 1.1. Will it work? Drum rolls, please! Yeah, of course it fucking will. Like, it's a new world. It's only been there for like 2 versions, so why wouldn't it work? Yeah, it also works, which means that the end of the dragon is killable and the world is beatable. Which technically answers a couple of questions. So, you know, finally we know that you can actually downgrade a Minecraft world from 1.18 to 1.0.0 going through every single version of Minecraft and still have a playable world. I mean, it will crash a lot of times. The world will basically be unrecognizable. Unrecognizable, it will be completely different from what you started with, and completely different from what it changed into in the first couple of versions. You're most likely going to be missing a couple of items, but I mean, it works. You know, this opens up a couple of doors for the future. You know, think about it. You could do a reverse speedrun where you downgrade a version every, well, 5 or 10 minutes, and try to beat the game that way. You could, there may not be that many practical uses of having this knowledge, but it's still pretty cool. And in the next video, or the video after
That's the
this video,
smallest corruption biome I think I've ever seen.
time to make these kind of videos. But yeah, I'll make a video trying to do it in survival mode. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this quick video about downgrading a Minecraft world. And yeah, see you whenever. Bye.
I'm gonna take a break. I'll probably be back.